Hello everyone, All 22 and a few film review, giving you guys the next episode of Draft Wraps, my draft class analysis series where we dive deep into all 32 classes, letting you guys know how I feel about every pick according to my big board, who's left on the board positionally, is it a team need, is it a scheme fit, all that stuff. We've got projections for starts, projections for roles immediately, all that good stuff. So if you want to learn more about the Lions class that we're doing today, or any of the 31 other classes, make sure you stick around as we get through all 32 teams. Make sure you dive through the channel to make sure you haven't missed your favorite team if they've been done already. Without further ado, let's hop into the Lions class. The Lions get a B+ grade for me, a 3.1579. That numerical grade coming from an equation I made for you guys, so you guys can have more of a concrete feel about how I feel about every class, as well as stacking the same letter grades of classes. Kind of a fun exercise we could come back later to. See where I'm right, see where I'm wrong. It's more about the grades and analysis, but just a little extra something for you guys. That being said, if you want to learn more about that kind of how I get those grades and stuff and all the other information about anything you're seeing up on your board, go to the description. It's got all that stuff. If it's not in there, if you have any other questions, come scream at me in the comments. I'll answer whatever you want. I'll talk about football, anything. Love engaging with you guys. But let's go further into the Lions class. They start out with the Tyleik Williams, an IDL out of Ohio State. Then go Tate Ratledge, a guard out of Georgia. Isaac Tesla, a wide receiver out of Arkansas. Miles Frazier, a guard out of LSU. Ahmed Hassanin, an edge out of Boise State. Dan Jackson, a safety out of Georgia. And Dominic Levet, a wide receiver out of Georgia. Now, this is a very solid class for me. Like I said, a B+. I really enjoyed this class. I really enjoyed the day 1 and day 2, the guys they got. Didn't necessarily agree with the trade up for Isaac Tesla, and we'll dive deep into that as we get to that pick. Let's start out with Tyleik Williams at 28, an IDL out of Ohio State. No trade compensation, they just sat and picked. I really enjoyed this for them. IDL wasn't their biggest need, in my opinion. Their biggest needs for me were getting another guard to compete right away for you, getting an outside receiver, kind of more of an X type, because you got Jameson Williams who can burn and kind of do that stuff for you. You have Amon-Ra St. Brown who excels in the slot and kind of can flex out for you, but really does his damage mostly in the slot. I like a kind of more stable long-term X type for them. And then edge. Of course, they have Aiden Hutchinson. They brought in Marcus Davenport. Doesn't really move the needle for me. Josh Pascal is a fun early down type. Doesn't really move the needle for me either. Like them to get another edge in this room. Help them just with their pass rush, just overall. Now, Tyleik Williams doesn't necessarily fit one of those three, but I still love this for them, honestly. I think they're trying to get another Aleem McNeil for their D-line, and honestly, I love it. Getting two Aleem McNeils in the middle of your D-line for the future, absolutely beautiful. That's going to be super hard to run against, and it's going to free up your linebackers. They're going to be able to flow around super well. They love their deep linebacker rotation. Now, they have DJ Reader, and I like DJ Reader, but it's not like he's a long-term option. So having a Aleem McNeil kind of type next to Aleem McNeil already, that's a super good D-line rotation, man. I love that for them. Was 37th ranked on my big board, taken at 28. So not bad value at all. Was my 5th ranked interior D-line, was the 5th ranked D-line taken off the board. So positionally, I think he was the best guy available for them. A 6'3", 330-pound interior D-line. This guy can play nose for you. He's even got some athleticism to him. He's got some pass rush chops too. It's not like he's just an early down guy. He's not super nuanced in his pass rush, more of a pocket pusher right now, but it's something you can develop in his game. He's got the explosiveness. He flashes some nice hand usage at times when he's rushing with, a good enough pad level. You got to get that consistent in him too, which is kind of hard for interior guys rushing at times, but he's got the chops. This guy hits his ceiling. This is such a rock-solid 3-down piece for you. Like Aleem McNeil, this would be such a good duo for them for the long term. Love it for them. Like I said, A-, like it a lot. Going to be 22 throughout the season. Did not apply for an RAS because he didn't do enough testing measurables. It's all right. He's an athletic guy. Don't worry about it. In 2024, had 2.5 sacks, 4 hurries, 8 TFLs, and 1 PBU on the season. In 2024, he had 2.5 sacks, 4 hurries, 46 tackles, 8 TFLs, and 1 PBU on the season. Is a 2-time third-team Big Ten selection in his 2 years starting. I'd like to see him take that next elite step up, but still a very nice player. He's going in the first round. I think it's worthy for him going in the very back end of the first round. I don't hate that value for him at all. Was an honorable mention in 2021 and 2022 as a reserve player. So is even, getting accolades and putting up nice production even off the reserves. So I like that pick a lot for them. Again, it's an A-. Their next pick, they go Tate Ratledge, a guard out of Georgia with the 57th pick, the 25th pick of the second round. Getting this in a trade up with the Broncos, moving up from 60 to 57, sitting over 60 and 130 for 57 and 230. Essentially moving up 3 spots to move down 100. I really like this for them. Like I said, I wanted them to get a guard to compete for them. I think this is great value for Tate Ratledge. Very, very close to giving it an A+. I think this is very solid value for him. I thought I was definitely a little bit higher on him than consensus. I had him at 44 on my big board. My overall guard 2, he was the 5th one taken off the board, taken at 57. I love the value for him. Now, I had him rated above Donovan Jackson just because I thought he was a better overall guard in terms of just complete well-roundedness. I thought Donovan Jackson was the best pass-protecting guard in the entire class. Talked about that in the Vikings video. Definitely has a higher ceiling in those terms. Super, super, super good pass protector. Just didn't love his run game as much as I like Tate Ratledge. And I still like Tate Ratledge's overall pass game as well, just not as much as Donovan Jackson's. Still thought he was a good athlete. Still thought he would fit in any scheme. Obviously a very, very nice sized lineman at 6'6.5", 308 pounds. Very athletic as well, as he tested it with a 9.96 RAS. I didn't think he would test that well. I didn't think he was that good of an athlete. I thought he was a really good athlete, but not a 9.96. But you'd love to see the testing measurables for him. Going to be 24 throughout his rookie season. Again, I graded this an A. I think he's going to slide in right into one of those starting guard spots. I don't care what side you call it. He's going to start for them this year. I feel very confident about that. And I have a feeling he's going to be a very nice guard in this league. Like I said, I'm very high on him. Had him 44 on my big board. So I think it's great value. On 311 pass block snaps this season, allowed 1 sack, 2 hits, and 4 hurries. Was a 2024 third-team All-American selection and a 2-time first-team SEC selection. A 3-year starter, has a lot of starting experience. You love to see just everything. He has production, he has the accolades, he has the size, he has the testing. He had to trade up 3 spots for him. I don't hate the trade up because honestly, I think he was going to get swooped up by one of these teams in these later spots. So I don't hate the trade up, especially because you're only moving up 3 spots. It did cost you a very, very back of the end 4th rounder, but I don't hate it to get a guard that's going to start for you right now and just keep making this line a really, really good group. Again, an A selection for me. Really, really like Tate Ratledge. Thinks he fits in very well with what they do. Their next pick, they go Isaac Tesla with the 70th pick, the 6th pick of the 3rd round. A wide receiver out of Arkansas, trading up with the Jaguars, setting over 102 and 2 third-rounders next year for 70, 182, and a 6th rounder next year. Now, I thought I was high on Isaac Tesla. I had him 88 on my big board. I had him as my 13 overall receiver. He was the 10th one taken off the board. I thought I was high on him. Apparently, the Lions liked him a ton. I did not think he was going to go this early. I don't hate value. He's 88 on my board, taken at 70, taken about 18 spots ahead of my board, taken above 3 receivers that I liked more. Now, this would be more of an A- value for me, but he is a slot type, and I wanted them to get an outside kind of X type like I was saying before. Now, he is 6'4", 214, so he has the size. He has all the athleticism, tested like a freak. He even has some of the release chops that you look for on the outside. So he has everything you want to be able to do it, and I do believe he can make that transition. Just at Arkansas, he only played from the slot last year. All his snaps were from the slot. So we have yet to see him actually do it. You don't know how he looks on the outside. If they're taking him to be a slot, I don't really love this pick because, like I said, Amon-Ra does his best work from the slot. Sam Laporta does a lot of work over the middle, so it's just going to be kind of congested in terms of what guys do well. But I think Isaac Tesla has the size. He has the ability to, he shows the nuances to be able to be on the outside. Different release packages, good with his hands, quick off the ball. stacks vertically. He has everything you want in an outside type guy. We just have yet to see him do it. So it's a little bit of a question mark. That's why it's more of a B plus value to me. Now, it's a B grade because he also traded 2 third-rounders next year to do it. I like Isaac Tesla. I don't know if it's worth trading up 2 third-rounders next year to go and get this guy when there's still a lot of good receivers left on the board. And outside guys that have, played outside that I think would fit better for them. I understand the projection. This, like I said, tested out of the park, 9.93 RAS score. You see the athleticism on tape. I didn't think he was going to test that well, but you love to see him test that well, honestly. 6'4", 214, has all the size, has very strong hands, is a pretty solid route runner, like I said, has the release packages. I think he can play outside. You have to see it happen. So it's a little bit of a question mark. I would like to see them get a guy who's already played outside. Going to be 23 throughout the season. Had 28 receptions on 36 targets. Was not ultra productive this year, like I said. Only played from the slot. Had 545 yards, 3 touchdowns, 19.5 yards per catch, which is pretty insane. 0 drops. Not a ton of targets, but 0 drops on that target, on those amount of targets. You absolutely love to see. So, not great production, but no drops. I'll take that. Started every game in 2023. Did not start every game for them this year, even though they didn't show he had a significant injury. So it was very, very questioned to see that, why he wasn't starting this year when he was starting every game last year. Was a D2 transfer, spent 3 years at Hillsdale, a D2 school, where he was very, very productive. So you like to see him be productive at every stage, even if his production wasn't what it was last year. I don't know. Don't have the intel on that one. Still flashed all the same ability, still looked great on tape. Just only played from the slot for some reason. Again, I give it a B just because he went a little bit early than where I thought you could have got him. He isn't an outside receiver right now. Like I said, all the traits, everything you want in an outside receiver. So I think he can make the transition, just have yet to see it. And he traded up 2 third-rounders next year to do this, which is pretty rich in my opinion. So going to be a B grade for me. Not a bad pick. I think he's going to help them out a lot. I think he's going to be productive. Just, I think it's a little bit early. Don't think you need to make that trade up. A little bit interesting in my opinion. Their next pick, they go Miles Frazier, a guard out of LSU, with the 171st pick, the 35th pick of the 5th round. Getting this pick from the Patriots, again, another trade up, sending 182 and 228 to the Patriots for 171. I love this, honestly. Doesn't fit in at a starting role right now, and that almost made me bring it down to, and I like it. But the fact that you got Miles Frazier with a very, very back-end pick in the 5th, I think is exceptional value. Someone who I thought was going to go more towards the early 4th, maybe mid-4th. I think this is insane, especially going to the Lions, where they just develop linemen super well. I think he's going to be surrounded by a lot of good guys. He's not going to have to start right away. He can learn. It's going to be super, super good for their depth long-term. Makes you question what they think about the rest of their interior line group with Netani Muti. Don't know what the situation is with Graham Glasgow right now. They draft a Ratledge in the 2nd, a double up this early. Very interesting, but I love the value for the player. I think he's going to a program that's going to develop him super well. A really nice pass protecting guard. Like to see a little bit more, giddy up and get out in his run game, especially going to the Lions, but he's going to a culture that I think is going to get the most out of him and probably turn him into a good run blocker. So honestly, I love it for the value and love it for the fit. A 6'6", 317-pound lineman, going to be 24 towards the middle of the season. A 9.3 RAS, tested very well. Moves well on tape. Didn't think he was going to test in the 9s, but you'll love to see those measurables on him, man. On 579 pass block snaps, 0 sacks, 1 hit, 12 hurries. That's great pass block type of production for 579 snaps. That's great. Was a freshman All-American at FIU before he came over to LSU. A 3-year starter at LSU, starting at left guard, and right tackle in his career. So you love to see the variability and the versatility among his line play. They could try to slide him around wherever they need need somewhere to fit. If someone goes down this year, plug Miles Frazier in. I'd feel super comfortable about that. Love this for them in the 5th round, especially at the back end of the 5th. Their next pick, they go Ahmed Hassanin out of Boise State with the 20th pick of the 6th round, pick 196, getting this pick from the Carlton Davis trade with the Buccaneers. I like this for them, almost, and I love it for them just because of how well he fits in with their group. I think this was around his range. I don't think it's insane value, but a very, very fun, productive player out of Boise State. 6'2", 267, short, very stout, but like I said, fits this edge room very well with what they want to do. They like to scheme up Aiden Hutchinson on, single pass rush kind of reps, like anything they can do to not get him double teamed, basically. And how they do that is they slide their line around a ton, and what that ends up happening is one of their edges will have to play 4-eye and kind of take up those interior spots as they slide their interior lines down, make him play in like a wide 9 while they still have a 5 or a 7 tech, so Aiden Hutchinson can get a free rush or a one-on-one rush off the edge. So your other edge on the other side is going to have to be able to play in the thick of it. He's got to be a big boy. 6'2", 267, perfect fit, honestly. Love that fit for him. He can play inside, outside for them. Feel super, super comfortable with that. Love the fit. Going to be 23 in his rookie season, 7.08 RAS. At 6'2", or at 6'2", 267, you're not expecting him to be the super elite mover, but he's fitting super well into this scheme. That's not why you're drafting him. Like I said, a productive player at Boise, 9.5 sacks, 5 hurries, 15.5 TFLs, 48 tackles. Love to see that production out of him, even if it's in the Mountain West. A 2-time first-team Mountain West selection in his 2 years at a starter at Boise State. So, great production for his career. Love to see it. I like it. I think this was around his kind of value. Again, I don't think it was like an exceptional value pick. I think it's a great fit for them, and I like it. Like I said, I wanted them to target edge in this class. Wish they targeted it a little bit earlier, but for the 6th round, this late in the 6th, this is probably the best fit you're going to be able to get for your line. So, I like it. The next pick, Dan Jackson, the 230th pick, the 14th pick of the 7th round, a safety out of Georgia. Again, they got this from the Tate Ratledge trade up, sending over 60 and 130 for 57 and 230 from the Broncos. I like this for them a lot. I like their safety room a lot with Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph, but they like to move those guys around a lot, and they don't have a ton of depth behind those guys. Getting a guy who's spent a lot of time playing in that Georgia defense, who's got some experience, loves to run around and play with his hair on fire, to be your safety depth in the 7th, I think is very good value. Probably not going to be an exceptional safety for you, but can develop into a nice role player for you, and I like that for them. And probably going to be a very good special teamer. Like I said, plays with his hair on fire, loves to fly down the field and hit. Going to be an electric special teamer for you, if nothing else, that I think will develop for a nice role-playing safety for them, even if he's never a high-end starter for them. A 5'11", 194-pound safety, going to be 25 during his rookie season, a 7 even RAS score. Not a super elite athlete, not a plus athlete, but a smart guy who flies around the field well. Very nice instincts for the 7th round. This is probably one of the best safeties you're going to be able to get left on the board. Had 2 interceptions, 3 PBUs, 64 tackles, 1 forced fumble, 1.5 TFLs, and 1 blocked kick on the season. A 2024 third-team SEC selection in his first true year at starting. Like I said, played a decent amount, but never a true starter in that Georgia secondary. But still, I like this for them a lot as a depth type of guy. I like it, and I like it pick. Not I love it. I think this is around his value. I think it works well for them. Nice special teamer in the 7th, potential role player. I like it. Dominic Leavitt, a wide receiver out of Georgia, with the 244th pick, the 28th pick of the 7th. Not moving at all on this one. No trade compensation. I like it. They don't have a set solid 6 in their receiver room, so doubling up on a second wide receiver, I don't hate at all, especially this late in the class when you had other pressing needs. Now, don't think he's a true outside type of guy, but a pretty fun player from Georgia. I liked Arian Smith a little bit better than him. He goes in the 4th, which was very, very early for me, in my opinion. I think Dominic Leavitt in the 7th is much better value, especially this late in the 7th. A guy with a little bit of upside, some juice, 5'10", 185-pound receiver, a 22-year-old, going to be 23 towards the middle of the season. The 6.66 RAS score, plays a little bit better than he tests. Decent mover, he can get down the field very well. Add some juice to a receiver room that doesn't have a ton of juice outside of Amon-Ra, who isn't even the juiciest player, just very physical and smart player, knows how to move, like very technical. Isaac Tesla provides them some juice, Jameson Williams, a lot of juice, but outside of that, not a ton of true juice in that room. Dominic Levet definitely provides some of that. 59 receptions on 92 targets, 607 yards, 6 touchdowns, 10.3 yards per reception, 5 drops, which you don't like to see. But led his team in receptions, despite not even being a true starter, only started 7 games for them. Just a ton of rotation for this guy. And like I said, led their team in receptions despite not being a true starter, which you like to see. You think his best football can be ahead of him if he's given a true role. This late in the 7th, I don't hate it at all. Especially, like I said, they don't have a set 6 in the receiver room. 28th pick in the 7th round, there's not a ton of receivers left on the board. I like taking a chance on a guy like this. Spent 2 years at Georgia and 2 years at Mizzou. Was a second-team SEC selection during 1 year at Mizzou. So, if you think you can get that a little bit back out of him, decent 7th round pick. Probably going to make their roster. Just for that fact, I can't hate it at all. They need another guy in this room. He provides some juice. I like it. Not too much else to say about it. I don't think he is going to be a great receiver. Doesn't have a ton of upside. But in the 7th, getting a juicy type receiver in your room that needs to be filled out more. Solid pick. This is the Lions class. Like I said, a B+, a 3.1579. Sorry if I was kind of losing what I was saying at times. Like I said in my previous 2 videos, I'm recording 5 to 6 videos in one day while I'm going to be gone over the next 5 days, so you guys have a video for each day while I'm out. So, sorry if my brain's getting a little scrambled at times. I appreciate you bearing with me and sticking through it. Sorry this one was a kind of a shorter one, a little bit of a, kind of simpler class. Take some double ups, not a ton of picks, not a ton to say about their picks because I thought they were all just very solid. A very, very nice class overall. I think this is going to help them a lot in year 1, more than people might think. And I think down the line, if these guys can hit their upside, will be a very, very nice class. But probably most likely just going to see the bulk of impact out of this in your top 3 picks, especially if Isaac Tesla can develop as an outside guy. Miles Frazier down the line should be a very nice guard for you, even if he's not playing a ton in year 1. Ahmed Hassanain, I'm losing the pronunciation. My brain's scrambling. I'm sorry. Sorry for butchering your name. Fits very well in this room. May never be a true 1 or 2 in this for this team, but has the upside to become a 2 edge rusher and fits very, very well with what they do here. So I like that a lot for them. Dan Jackson, like I said, they don't have a ton of safety depth, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's getting a ton, not a ton, but a decent amount of snaps in year 1. And Dominic Levet, just because they don't have a ton of juice in this room, they don't have a set 6. If he got some snaps this year, I wouldn't be surprised at all. Should be used definitely on special teams. So, very solid class again. I like it a lot. If you made it this far through all my brain scrambling, I really appreciate it. Let me know what you guys think down below, what you agree with, what you don't agree with, how you felt about the class. Do you think Isaac Tesla was worth that trade up? Am I crazy for being this high on Tate Ratledge? Discuss with me down below. Make sure to stick around for all future classes. I really appreciate all the support and just anyone who really makes it this far in the video. Thank you guys. Hope you have a great day.